Hi, this is HL from the Hollywood Liberal, and welcome to HL's NBC News Raw video blog. We come to you here every Monday on the Hollywood Liberal with what's been happening lately on our blog, thehollywoodliberal.com, and what we're going to be looking at this week. We get to a lot of stories about news, politics, and other things that are going on in the world. Okay, let's get to a news story right now that we've been covering over the past few weeks, and it continues ongoing, and it's called President Bush in a stalemate with Congress over Iraq. As you probably know, the stalemate has been going on between Congress and Bush over the Iraq War. Both houses of Congress have passed resolutions calling for an end to for dates to bring the troops home to go along with the money that they're going to continue to give in to Iraq to have the wars being fought for Bush. Bush is completely against this. He says that he'll veto any bill that comes through. In the past couple of weeks, we've reported that both Barack Obama and Senator Carl Levin have reported that if Bush vetoes the bills, that they will go ahead and fund the wars anyway. But now they're saying that they're not going to do that. They're not going to back down from this issue. They're starting to dig their heels in even more now. They don't want to. They don't want to be dragged by Bush into doing whatever he wants anymore. So Dick Cheney also came forward a couple of days ago predicting that the Democrats will cave in, as he says, and give them exactly what they want. But I don't know. I think the Democrats are finally starting to get the message now that the people put them in there to get us out of Iraq, and that's what they're going to do. In a news conference just today, Harry Reid, who is the #1 man in the Senate, senator from Nevada, was being interviewed, and he was asked what kind of a compromise that they could come up with for the so that they could settle this between the Senate and the President. And Reid basically said the only compromise that he'll accept is the President signing his bill. So talking tough, talking the way he should be talking, since he has the majority in Congress. We'll have to see what happens next. The Democrats say that if Bush vetoes the bill, which everyone thinks he will, which he says he's going to, that they'll next come forth with another bill which will still have benchmarks that the Iraqis will have to meet in order for us to keep our troops in there, which these benchmarks so far have not been met by the Iraqi people, and Bush is against that too. Bush has said that he wants a clean bill, as he calls it, which just gives him the power to fight the war forever with no checks or balances whatsoever, just Bush unilaterally deciding what to do, how much money to spend, and how many more people are going to die before this whole thing finally ends. So we're going to keep an eye on this story this week. Let's hope the Senate and the House stay by their guns on this one. They have the American people behind them. All they have to do is fight for what's right. Next story we're going to look at right now. Ex-Justice official statement contradicts Gonzalez on firings. As you know, we've been following the story of Alberto Gonzalez, our Attorney General, who was or was not, as depending on who you talk to, involved in the firing of 8 federal prosecutors who at the time were being persecuted by the Bush administration for not going after Democrats so that they could make them look bad before the elections in 2006. Eight prosecutors were fired. Now, all along, Gonzalez has been saying that he didn't know anything about it, that he didn't see any memos about it, he doesn't remember anything having to do with any of these firings. But lately, it's been looking more and more like Alberto is lying, because just today an email was released that said that Alberto Gonzalez was at a meeting on November 27th of last year where they actually discussed the firing of the prosecutors. So right there, he's not looking too good. And in another released email, Gonzalez is once again proven to be lying when he says that he didn't have anything to do with the firings. One prosecutor from California, whose name was Carol Lamb, who was fired as part of the purge, Gonzalez was in a meeting with her, according to an email, and was trying to bring up having her fired 6 months before it actually happened. She did eventually get the axe along with the other 7, but 6 months earlier than this, Gonzalez already wanted her gone, which goes against what he was saying when he said that he had nothing to do with it and didn't know anything about it. Also, Michael A. Battle, who carried out the firing of the prosecutors, was one of the top men under Gonzalez in the Justice Department, said today that the prosecutors who were fired, most of them didn't have any performance problems whatsoever, which also contradicts what Gonzalez said, because he said that he had been disappointed with these prosecutors, he wasn't happy with their performance. Meanwhile, they didn't even have any problems with performance, according to their boss, and Gonzalez is just making all this up to try to make himself look good. Now, Gonzalez was supposed to testify today in front of the Senate, but because of the school shootings at Virginia Tech, they canceled it for another 2 days, and he's going to be back on Wednesday. Gonzalez could be possibly setting himself up for a Scooter Libby situation where he's setting himself up for perjury, because no matter what he says, it could become a lie because he said so many different things in different directions, just like Libby did. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. If Gonzalez opens himself up for perjury and he commits perjury, that could be the end of his job, if not more. We've been speculating on when he's actually going to go. I've been saying he's going to hold on for a while, and he has. The heat just keeps getting hotter for old Alberto Gonzalez, and after this Wednesday, we might find out a lot more about what's going on with him, and the Senate will have something to say about it.